Okay, today we are doing this assignment here, the area of polygons, day 2, and it's day 2 because we're going to be finding the area of kites and trapezoids, okay? So you're watching the video right now, and we're going to go ahead and use these two sites to find the formulas to find the area of the kite and the trapezoid. Let's start with the kite, so we click on that. Your area of the kite this is the website, but if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the area is right here. Basically, what it's telling us to do is multiply the lengths of diagonals and then divide by 2 to find the area. So we need to find the distance here, which is a diagonal, and that diagonal, not the side, but the diagonals. Very important. So make sure you read this and understand it. Then once you get those, you multiply them out and divide by 2. Okay? So it's giving you an example. It says if the diagonals are 3 and 5, what is the area? 3 times 5, divide by 2, 7.5. So let's go ahead, go to the assignment and do the first kite example. So go ahead and open that up. Okay, so here's the assignment, day 2 kites. So the first thing we're going to do is find the area of each. The first thing is we need to determine what kind of a figure is this. Well, it doesn't tell us that it's a trapezoid, but we should know that, or a kite. It doesn't tell us it's a kite. Sorry, this is a kite. But if we know that these two sides are equal and these two sides are equal, then we know that this is a kite. Okay? So all we need in that case is we need as we saw over here, we just need the diagonals, not the sides, but the diagonals. Okay, let's see what they give us. Well, they give us 8.5, they give us 12, and they give us 7.87. Remember, we don't want the sides. This 12 is basically telling us the distance from here to here. That's one of the diagonals. And this 8.5 is telling us the distance from here to here. That's what this refers to. 7.87 is not a diagonal, it's a side, so we don't need that, okay? So all we need is a 12 and the 8.5. So if we go, the area equals 12 times 8 in its multiplication divided by 2. So if you get your calculator out, you'll see 12 times 8.5 divided by 2 equals 51, and that would be A. That's all there is to it, guys, okay? Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is another example. It says find the missing measurement, not the area, but the missing measurement, and then round it to the nearest tenth. Well, here what do we have? We have the first diagonal right here, they tell us is from horizontal, this one, so 3.4. This is going to be the other diagonal, which is, we don't know. That's what we're trying to determine. But we do know that the area is 8.5. So what we can do is we can go area equals the diagonal, maybe the formula is like diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Well, what do we have? We have diagonal 1 is 3.4, but we don't know what the other diagonal is. So why don't we make that x divided by 2 equals 8.5. Okay, so now we need to find the value of x. Well, what we can do is, to find the value of x is we can take 3.4 and we can divide it by 2. Okay, so 3.4 divided by 2 equals, if you do that on your calculator, you get 1.7. So this would be 1.7x equals 8.5. And then, as you know, to solve for x, we have to divide by 1.7. This cancels. X is equal to, whatever that is equal to, let me give my calculator, 8.5 divided by 1.7 equals 5 exactly. That would be A, okay? All right, so that's how you do it when you have the kites, the two different kinds of questions. The next thing is finding the area of the next. Well, this is a trapezoid, right? So there we can go to this website right here, and this will tell us the area of a trapezoid. Make sure to translate this if you need it. What this is saying is the area is A plus B, which is the one of the parallel sides. Remember, a trapezoid has two sides that are parallel, A and the B, and then two sides that are not parallel. We want the parallel sides. So that's going to be A and B. We need to use those are considered the bases. The parallel sides are the bases. Okay, and then times the altitude, that's another word for height. Height and altitude mean the same thing. So we need whatever the height is from this line to this line vertically. And then we're going to go A plus B times 2, divided by 2, times the height. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply that over here. Again, it's always good to put the formula down first. So, oops, we don't need that. So we're going to go and get this color. So we're going to go area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, and all that times the height. Okay? So we've got multiple pieces of information. We've got this number, this number, this number, and this number. Well, remember, we need the bases. The bases are parallel to each other, and they're on opposite sides, right? So if we have 9.8, that cannot be the base because it's not parallel to the opposite side. So this cannot be the base. But this is parallel to this, these two lines. So that means these are our bases. So I'm going to put area equals, so 3.3 plus, not multiplication, 9.1 divided by 2, and all that times the height, which you can see is it forms a perpendicular line here with a right angle in between the two parallel bases. Sorry, I'm getting sloppy there. So that is 8. So times 8. Now, when you're calculating on this, it's very important to do this when you're calculating. On the top, do that first and hit enter. So 3.3 plus 9.1, and then hit equals or enter on your calculator. So you get 12. So the top part is going to be 12.4, and then you divide by 2, and then multiply by 8. So I'm going to take this, divide by 2 equals, and then times the 8, oops, come back calculator, times 8 equals 49.6. So that's going to be A. For some reason they're all A right now. I don't know why. They're not always going to be like that, but in these examples. Okay? All right, one more we'll do together, and then I'll let you do the remaining. Here we have another trapezoid. So now we're going to try to find the missing measurement. So what do we have? We have, again, area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, all that times the height. Okay? Well, we're looking for this. That means we're looking for one of the bases, right? So the area equals base plus the other base plus 2 divided by 2, and all this times the height, which is this 1, and that is equal to, they tell us the area, 1.3, okay? So, wow, we got a few things we need to do. First, we need to go multiply everything by 2 to get rid of the bottom. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 2. Why? To eliminate this 2 right here. So, but I got to do it that side too, right? And what do I get? So that goes away, and I get b plus 2 times 1 is equal to, and if you multiply this, that's 2.6. Now, 1 doesn't create a problem, but I do need to get rid of the 1, and I go divide by 1, and that's just going to be 2.6. Let me write it over here. So b plus 2 equals 2.6. And then I need to solve for b, so minus 2, b equals 0.6. Okay, so that's how you do those, okay? So the next several are going to be practice problems, and then at the very end, after you get done with those, I'm going to give you some review questions from yesterday, from the last session, with rectangles and squares and parallelograms. So make sure when you're done, you put your answers into Canvas, and that's how you do today's assignment.